So Jayco just went through and completely reinvented their single axle J-Flight series, and I'm really curious to know what you think about it as we go through this today. Welcome everybody, Josh RV Nerd. Well, I was going to say at Bish's RV of Coldwater, Michigan, but no, we're actually in Las Vegas today. And this floor plan was really made possible by the fact that the J-Flight single axles previously were 7 foot wide. They have gone to a full 8 foot wide platform, and that has allowed them to pull off new floor plans like this they've never done before. So they still have basically all the same construction you've seen out of the other J-Flight series. That's the reason they still have that same 2+3 year warranty coverage on them. But this model gives us tandem axle features in a single axle size and weight, So if you've got a lighter duty tow vehicle that can't handle a larger tandem axle model, but you still need double over double bunks, you want a big U-dinette slide, and you want the extra seating and space of a bigger slide in a smaller RV with the Murphy bed, that's where this one comes in right here. It maintains a good full pass-through. There's optional 200 watts of solar. The wood is still pocket screwed lumber core. Again, the base construction hasn't changed. They've given it a little bit of an exterior facelift, and then they just made the whole body bigger on this thing to give you more room all the way through. Now, what's really interesting is we essentially have a sister to this floor plan coming in our Bish's exclusive Go Play series. It won't be exactly identical, so I really want to focus on this one here today to let you know the good, bad, ugly, and everything in between with this. And if you like how we try to give you that fair and candid approach to things, make sure you hit that subscribe button to follow along the next one. But the next time that when the next video comes, my brain can't brain. Now, one of the cool things is this has become a very popular floor plan. The Salem Wildwoods FSX division is really the originator of it. But since then, a lot of different builders have started taking a stab at some version of this layout. And they all have some really good, really interesting qualities that I like. And I think it's really cool that as potential buyers, you have choices as to which one of those you want to go with or not. Now, normally, this would have an 8,000 BTU side mount air conditioner, but the one we're looking at today is outfitted with their 13,500 BTU roof mount air. What's nice is previously they just left a box open face on the wall right there. I think if you were lucky, you got like this little strand of cargo knitting to kind of hold things in there. I really appreciate the fact that if you get the optional roof air, you're also getting a fully enclosed cabinet now that, just didn't used to be there. Now, it is technically a little bit of a toe stubber slide, but they made it as close to floor flush as they possibly could. If you notice that wooden box back there, it actually goes partially over the wheel well. They had to get a little bit crafty with it, but no carpet. It would have been cheaper and easier for them to throw carpet down there. And I don't normally like pedestal style tables, but since the table could technically fall off the edge of the slide, I think it's smart to use a pedestal style there so that if it gets bumped, it doesn't go flying around. And that's a full true U-dinette. That is like, it folds down to something close to a 7-foot-ish kind of sleeper, nearly around 4 foot wide, give or take. I will say this is not an awesome floor plan for sitting inside watching TV all day. I don't think when you're in a small single axle bunkhouse though that sitting inside to watch TV all day is everyone's dream vacation necessarily. I think that if you were going to do that, you'd probably, okay, the sofa was further back than I thought. Live from New York. It's Saturday night. I just went backside over tea kettle here. You get the idea what I'm saying on the TV. Now, small space, it's non-centralized air, it's non-centralized heat. That's the furnace right down there. They did, I think, good, smart decisions with a small... God bless America. This grinds my gears. We're at a dealer display, and instead of walking 5 feet to throw away their water bottle, someone just leaves it in the corner. It's just so disrespectful and lazy. I see it at these displays every year. It's never going to change, but oh my Lord, it just drives me crazy. Anyway, it drives me crazy like fine young cannibals. Anybody... There's two people right now. There's two types of people. The people who either go, ha, okay, I get the joke. Or there's people like, fine young cannibals? What are you talking about? If you know the reference, we would probably get along very well at a campfire. The handle right here is to help the kids kind of climb up or down from the top bunk, but it doesn't include a dedicated ladder. The sticker that you can't read from here is telling you that this is a 600-pound rated bunk, and the one below it is a 600-pound rated bunk. They give you the same bunk ratings, top or bottom, either way. Now, what they kind of did here, I almost missed it, and then I noticed that there was a little bit of a seam in the lower mattress that was not in the top bunk mattress. So I started playing with it, and I found out, hey, you can fold that sucker up, and it's a mini cargo bunkhouse. Now, they have things like, I think, a water heater and water lines running across the back of the RV, so they were not able to put a full-on cargo door there, and they have a fire escape window for that bottom bunk. So they really had no opportunity to give us a cargo bunk function on this little thing. Being fair and candid, the top bunk obviously has no window, but your top bunk has USB plugs, your bottom bunk has households. Why they split them like that, I'm really not sure. I would have just rather had USBs top and bottom, but hey, that's me. I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I would do. I don't design the product, so it doesn't matter at all what I would do. My opinion doesn't count. Let's take a look at how this bed works up here. So, I've been getting wider since pre-pandemic, frankly. Some people say technology brings us closer every day. For me, it's my waistline getting closer to everybody else around me. But I did magically get larger because we also just entered wide-angle realm lens mode right here. I wanted to kind of show you the space that's up here. This would be decent for 2 adults. If you really scoot over, I think you could squish a third person in here, especially if it's a little kid, one of your, the little ones running around. They'd fit right fine between you. My daughter's past that cuddle on the couch age. God, I miss that. Remember this, when you're camping, I'm gonna wax poetically here. One day, it's gonna be the last time you ever pick up and carry your child. And you're not even gonna know it. And when you realize it, you're gonna be really sad. So whether it's camping or anything else, make those memories now, if you possibly can. Sorry, I'm getting like emotional over here. Anyway, let's take a look at the storage around this. Again, because we have the roof air, we have a bonus closet up here. Over on this side, it's just shelf pocket dresser space. We've also got a couple big drawers. I don't even know if you can fully see this on camera. These are huge. These are nice, big, spacious drawers. But this I thought was really, really cool. I was like, why is there a small door here? And they put in double mini drawers. And I've never seen someone do that, but I kind of like it, because if I have small little like watches or something, like, do you prefer the drawers, or what if this was just one open pocket or just one cabinet? I don't know. Leave me a note. Let me know. I'm kind of curious. Now, all the cabinetry looking at, it's all pocket screwed lumber core, which is the same thing you get all the way up into Eagle fifth wheels, by the way. But that right there, you can see, is actual dedicated hanging space. So you do have that. Now, I was really excited when I saw this was a Murphy bed. And at the time that I'm messing with this, I don't know if it's just a symptom of this being a prototype. This, by the way, is a folding bendy bed. That's why I want to do this live on camera. I don't even know how well this is showing up on camera. But I looked at this and I'm like, the bed's freaking square. The bed's an L7 weenie, as we heard on the sandbox. And I got my electric tape measure thing out. It's 5 foot by 5 foot, 60 inch by 60 inch. It's short. It's a normal queen width, but it's crazy, crazy short. And if I lay down with my head up here at normal pillow height, you can see that there's like a good foot hanging off of this thing. Now, I'm just over 6 foot tall myself. I'm like 6'1", basically, on my driver's license. That's without the shoes. I guess I didn't even need to take my shoes off because they were never going to be on the furniture here. And I'm hoping this is, again, an early prototype symptom, and they do plan on giving us at least a short queen mattress here. And I hope you appreciate how, if that is the case, I'll try to leave some notes on screen to warn you. But I hope you appreciate that if something like this is perhaps not ideal, that I will still go out of my way to show this for you, because that maybe could be a deal breaker. This right here, the short front bed, could be the reason somebody doesn't want to buy this. And I'm telling you a reason to maybe not buy this camper. So I'm just trying to look at it as though I were spending my money and trying to respect that you work hard for the money, so hard for it, honey. By the way, This slide is barely going to clear the sofa as it is when it closes for road mode, which I'll show you later. There's absolutely zero chance of using this bed in transit. None. So back into human eye view mode. Again, you see that slide fascia is barely going to clear the sofa when it closes. So, you know, there you go. Now, again, the dinette can fold down into a big sleeper with all the decorations everywhere. I didn't want to make a mess of stuff. I have tried in the past. I can take a picture of what that looks like and then try to put it back together the way they did. It always looks like crap when I'm done with it, and I don't want to disrespect their display space over here. Something I did notice, the thermostat looks like it's going to be hidden behind the slide wall when it closes for road mode as well. Some people really get annoyed by that. I don't tend to use RVs a lot when they are at a travel stop. I don't tend to drive really, really long distances with an RV myself, but I know that's important for some people, so I want to point it out. Good, smart power outlet location right there. Although it's limited, very limited counter space, I think they went about this kind of smartly. It's a small sink, but it leaves a little bit of counter space there. And they went with a pseudo north-south kind of burner situation. There's a little bit thinner profile varieties of things out there, but I think that for the counter space they had, they executed that well. And actually, I want to give them some credit. I think for a small RV, this kitchen storage, as we open this up here, was actually executed very, very well. They utilized every nook and cranny they could. I also really appreciate the fact that your converter, your fuse box, is sneakily hidden away behind a door under the refrigerator. It just helps keep curious children from messing with it who don't necessarily need to. But they gave us not even one, two really good kitchen drawers. A ton of small single axle campers give us zero. And they finally did, under the sink, the thing I've been asking manufacturers to do for ages. They left shelves over here, but they left that door open for a wastebasket. It is, I think, in my nerdy opinion, exactly what you want. Now, the bathroom's pretty straightforward. It has two things I don't personally love about it. I will say, though, space around the toilet, that's not a problem whatsoever. Pretty straightforward, basic sink set up in a little camper. Nothing to really write home about there. One of the two gripes that I have about this is that it's just a mirror on the wall. And in the campgrounds, I am not the fairest of them all. I would really like some kind of medicine cabinet there. But with wood-studded walls, something theoretically could be hung there. This is the other really thing for me. No vent fan in the bathroom of these single-axle J-Flight SLXs. Now, here's the thing. You've got power there that's 12 volt. You could theoretically jump and steal power and install an aftermarket fan. It annoys me that you have to. I just kind of wish it wasn't there. Now, the RV is 6.5 foot tall. Your tandem axle J-Flights are 6'9" from floor to ceiling. So yeah, my head's in the shower. But they gave us a full shower surround. I can tolerate my head being in the shower for a short time. Or in the skylight and ducking a little bit. Like, I can deal with that. I'm going to take a small little military style shower with the water on, off, on, off. I really like the fact they gave us a freaking huge shower pan in this. So I've actually got room to, like, get in there and soap up. And I had so many things flying through my head right now that I thought about saying. And if you folks are ever amazed at what I do say on camera, you would be really amazed at the stuff that runs through my head that I don't say on camera. I probably just saved my job just now. Anyway, slide closed road mode footage right here. We already talked about the front bed. You know, I'm kind of becoming aware. My camera will tend to lighten up dark spaces if it can. There's no light in the actual slide out. That is one thing I would like. So what I would probably do is I would get one of those battery operated like stick on little lights and slap one or two of those against the ceiling of that slide out just to help lighten up and brighten it up in there. But if you're going to make a travel snack stop, or you're going down the road and you hear every parent's worst nightmare, Mom, Dad, I've got a potty. Actually, you know what? No, that's probably not every parent's worst nightmare. I think I read a story online where this lady said, you know, easily the worst way to be woken up by your toddler is to have them tap you on the shoulder while you're sleeping nicely in bed and say, "Mommy, my fart is on the floor." Because when it's like 2:30 in the morning, that's a bad way to wake up. Now, when they went 8 foot wide, they picked up a little bit of extra weight as well. Giving you a look at the weights and the measures over there on the side, this also is the largest of the single axle J flights. They only get lighter and smaller from here. But one thing I noticed is it still has over 1,000 pounds of cargo capacity. That's not terrible. I wasn't super disappointed with that. I thought that was actually pretty decent, pretty reasonable. I was almost surprised they are still maintaining the use of like integrated stereos and outside speakers. I've asked before, but I don't know. What's your 2 cents? Do you like it when they just go ahead and include the speakers and everything wired all in? Are you okay with like a removable Bluetooth speaker? Does the manufacturer even need to provide the speaker, or do you have like extras at home you could use? I don't know. Leave me some notes. Let me know. It is still the twist lock latches, but it is magnet holdbacks, which is nice. And even though the Murphy bed design does get up into this front storage compartment a little bit, it is still technically a full front pass-through. Or, I don't know, maybe it's more appropriate to say like 60% front pass-through. You know what I mean, right? Again, we are 8 foot wide now, and even when they were narrow body, I would still recommend things like towing extension mirrors, but I still think I think it's more true now than ever, really. Now, this is one of the, I don't even know if I want to say one of the few, but just one of the single axle J-Flight SLXs that has a slide. They are using a Schwintek system. I was pleasantly surprised to see them include an outdoor cargo pocket right here so that you can access the rear bench storage. You don't necessarily have to take apart the entire space. Now, if I kick on my flashlight right here, it's not super massive, it's just the rear bench, but I give them credit that they didn't waste that space. Now, the SLX J-Flights, which is the single axles and the more basic tandem axles, they are running import tires. When you start getting into a full J-Flight, not an SLX, you'll go back to the Goodyears. We are ladder prepped here, whereas a full J-Flight actually does have the ladder. It's still a walkable roof, it just doesn't include a factory ladder. By default, it's solar prepped, but from the factory they have a 200-watt solar package, but it's all pre-wired. Like, if that's stuff you're looking for, that's all stuff that we can add. Kind of like you see the backup camera prep right there. A lot of RVs have that. Very few RVs actually include backup cameras from the factory, but that's also, again, very easy stuff for us to add. I also want to give them credit. Tankless on-demand water heater. Some people like them, some people don't. But even here on their smaller, more price-sensitive trailers, they're still using the 60,000 BTU instead of the 40,000 BTU. Basically, it can get the water either coming in from your the park line or the water held in your holding tank, heated essentially like an additional 20 degrees. It can heat that water 50% more than a 40,000 BTU. And if someone's trying to take a hot shower and you're trying to cook, they don't fight each other to the point that somebody has to get cold or lukewarm water. That's the difference from the 40,000 to the 60,000 BTU tankless water heater. Now, another quick note, there are separate production facilities for J-Flights. There's some in Indiana, which is mostly what I tend to record, but there is also production facilities out west in Idaho, and they each do a couple things a little bit differently. Out west, they call it Baja. In the east, they call it like STX, but there's also optional fiberglass available for this thing. So I'd be really curious to know, what do you think about the new floor plan, how they executed it, and would you prefer it with the tin skin or the fiberglass skin? And as you can see behind me, I have a lot more work to do to get you these videos, so I'm gonna cut you loose. Check the link in the video description, as always, for pricing and availability. Thanks again for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.